Tate Martell headlines a star-studded junior class for Bishop Gorman, while Arizona's #1 player leads state champion Chandler into Las Vegas. Viva!
Goosebumps, man. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. The air, the noise, the smell of sweat, the sound of cleats on concrete. A minute ago, I was just a student. But now, with those lights are on, my family, my school, my city, here, for me. Looking my brothers in the eyes, telling them, man, I believe in you. I'll sweat for you. I'll bleed for you. It's our time. I'm tired of hearing they did this.
Jameis Winston in the end zone.
They did that.
The handoff, and there's Clowney. Wow.
Remember so-and-so?
Tebow spins in with the second effort.
This is the moment we've been waiting for. It's now or never. We the future. Forget last season. Who's next?
You're watching the Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff as part of the Summer of Next, presented by Geico. From Fertitta Field in Las Vegas, Nevada, reigning national champion Bishop Gorman takes on the champions from Arizona, Chandler. Good evening, Anish Shroff alongside former Texas Longhorn Ahmad Brooks. Ahmad, take us through the mindset of these blue chippers as they get ready to play in this massive game.
Well, I never played in a nationally televised game. I may be dating myself here, but I did play for Abilene High School, which was named the program of the year in Texas high school football. So I do know a little bit about coming in with a program like this where you have an opportunity to impact your status as a recruit. So these guys today will be coming out here giving it everything they've got.
Bishop Gorman has the top 4 juniors in the state of Nevada, highlighted by a quarterback-receiver duo.
Yeah, I think it's the best perhaps in the country. Tate Martell with his ability to escape pressure, also to buy time with his feet, and he's got one of the top targets in the country, and Ty John Lindsay. This guy is a home run hitter and a touchdown waiting to happen.
And these two, again, both juniors, part of Who's Next, brought to you by Geico. For Chandler, they've got a couple of standout seniors, 1 wide receiver and 1 running back.
Yeah, and they'll need it because they have an inexperienced quarterback. But when you look at N'Keal Harry, this kid has the size, the strong hands, the ability to beat one-on-one coverage. And then you have the X factor, Chase Lucas. They'll line him up all over the field. Look for him tonight to be an impact player.
No shortage of stars here in Vegas. Now, we've got a packed broadcast for you this evening. We'll run through some of the top recruiting classes in the country. Can Bama make it 5 straight #1 classes? And where are the top players in the 2014 ESPN 300? We'll follow their progression and also look back at this weekend's top performers. Chandler won the toss. The Wolves elected to defer, so Bishop Gorman will receive the opening kickoff. Moments ago, we were with Bishop Gorman head coach Kenny Sanchez.
You bring out there all that hard work, all that passion, that heart, that fire. 1954, state championships, a national title. Bishop Gorman, that crowd, the student body, the alumni, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, these coaches, you, and you. You go out there and you play as hard as you can. Love each other. Respect each other. Respect your opponent by whooping their... You guys ready to go? Yes, sir. Let's go.
There is Kenny Sanchez in his first season as the Gales head coach. He took over for his brother. Tony is now the head coach at UNLV. Brandon Gehagen and Austin Arnold back deep to receive for Bishop Gorman. Arnold from the 16 across the 25 and stumbles to the 31-yard line. And we get our first look at this Bishop Gorman offense. The trigger man, Tate Martell, he recently committed to Texas A&M, the number 2 pocket passer in the ESPN Junior 300.
Yeah, this kid has a knack and ability to get outside of the pocket and the right timing when to do that. I think he has the right balance of buying time with his feet, in addition to that, making plays with his arm. You'll see him today with some fine plays, and he's got some weapons on the field to use.
Watch for number 25 in the slot, Tyjon Lindsey. And Martell goes to Lindsey, dangerous in the open field. Lindsey with a great stutter step across midfield and run out of bounds in Chandler territory.
Yeah, this is the kid that you do not want to give one-on-one coverage on, and Tate Martell recognizes it. It looked like a hot route there. We talked about the chemistry between Tate Martell and Lindsey. Looked like that was a nod. He knew it was one-on-one coverage. He gets out and makes some things happen.
Lindsey, the number 2 player in the state of Nevada. They say he stepped out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Like Martell, Lindsey a junior, and so dangerous when it comes to yards after catch. Lindsey in motion. He gets it on the fly sweep. There he goes, off to the races. Lindsey tackled at the 11-yard line, a gain of 20.
Yeah, this kid is a dynamic player, and you've seen him already in his first 2 plays be used in different ways. This time they bring him off the boundary on a play across the middle, and you just see him there. Great blocking to seal off the edge also for his teammates. But Tyjon Lindsey is a special player indeed.
He's drawn comparisons to DeAnthony Thomas, now in the NFL, but started with Oregon. Low snap, Martell to Gehagen. Gehagen to the outside, inside the 10, and tackled near the 5-yard line. It's a gain of 11. Bishop Gorman has won 6 consecutive Nevada State titles. The Gales finished last year as the number 1 team in the USA Today Super 25. Handoff to Biagio Ali Walsh. That is the grandson of the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, and you can almost see the resemblance. As we were sitting down yesterday, it was fun to be around him and to talk about his grandfather.
Well, the old Maryland eye here on 2nd and goal. And Jonathan Shoemaker tackled just shy of the goal line. So 3rd and goal coming up for Bishop Gorman here on this opening drive. Kenny Sanchez told us yesterday his first game as the Gales head coach. Yeah, he was nervous. He said, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am a little nervous, but it's good to be nervous.
Yeah, this is a big job, and he's got to be as cool as the other side of the pillow, as Stu would say, in situations like this to be able to handle this pressure.
That's Haskell Garrett, a 4-star D lineman. So they feed the big fella, and Bishop Gorman on the board.
Yeah, it's hard to stop that kid. It's got to be fun for a defensive lineman to score the first touchdown of the year.
And he's not just a defensive lineman on this Bishop Gorman team. He is the defensive lineman. Now, we saw in practice yesterday, Garrett was taking some snaps for short yardage. He told us yesterday if the opportunity presented itself, he would not shy from it.
Yeah, and you see it here. They started the game off with one of their more dynamic playmakers, Lindsey, making guys miss. That was a nasty cut as he gets back on the outside. And then you see it here finishing off with the defensive tackle. Haskell Garrett punching it in for Bishop here as they continue on their run. What a fine start for this offense as they come out here, get things going. That's what you want to see if you're the defending state champions, the national champs. Come out here, get some momentum, get those butterflies out of your system, Anish, so you can come out here and play football.
And I know Bishop Gorman has been on television a ton. For you and I, our first time out here, what they have, this is not your typical high school. We've been to colleges that do not have the infrastructure, the support, and most importantly, the facilities and resources that this high school program does.
And I think you said this yesterday, but this high school program operates as closely as a college program as any of I've seen. From the facilities to the way that the coaching staff handles their players, the expectations they have on them, what great preparation these young men have as they will be moving to the next level, a lot of them, to play football.
Well, now it's Chandler's turn. Chase Lucas, the deep man. Here's Lucas on a short kick from inside his own 20. He's got some speed. Lucas across midfield, tackled at the 48-yard line. It's a 32-yard return by the speedster.
We got this one up. It looked like they were trying to kick away from him as Lucas limps off the field. The short kick, one thing you know about returning, when you get a short kick, they're dangerous because usually it's in your face, but it also allows you to run through the catch, and you saw that there, him pick up some momentum. Lucas, one of the fastest players for Chandler, and you see it there. He just comes down on that a little bit awkward as they carry him off the field. That would be a big blow for Chandler if that is the case.
Now Lucas, a four-star recruit, ESPN 300 guy, number 220. One of the top running backs in the country, and he will not start out in the backfield for Chandler. It's Colby Taylor in motion. On the ground, it's a Micah Reed Campos. He picks up a couple to the 46-yard line. The quarterback for Chandler, Mason Moran, a three-star recruit. He recently committed to Oregon a few months ago. But he committed to Oregon State before ever playing a varsity game as a quarterback. He was an all-state safety a season ago. Colby Taylor in motion. Moran will keep it. Moran into his own man. And he picks up 3. It'll bring up third down. Last week, Mason Moran made his first varsity start as a quarterback. 2 touchdown passes. He ran for 2 more, 14 out of 15. Here's the thing with this kid, Ahmad. He's an athlete, and his head coach, Sean Aguano, told us he might be the fastest guy on this Chandler football team.
Well, it's amazing to think about when you've got guys like Lewis and Harry out there on the edges, but he's a fine athlete, and it's easy to see why a team like Oregon State would come after a player like that. That even if it doesn't work out at the quarterback position, you can move him back to safety. You can try him at perhaps corner with the speed that he has.
We've got a timeout, so we'll step aside as well. Chandler facing a 3rd and 5 when we come back.
Geico ESPN High School Kickoff is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And Subway restaurants. Get to Subway for the new turkey and bacon guacamole today. Subway. Eat fresh.
The beautiful Hoover Dam, not far from Las Vegas. Chase Lucas being worked on during the commercial break. And there's our first look at N'Keal Harry, the number 1 player in the state of Arizona and the number 4 wide receiver in the ESPN 300. He's 6'4", but he moves like he's 5'11".
Yeah, and with that frame, it doesn't matter if you're covering him up. Those long arms, it's hard to get around him and make a play, as you saw there on a nice skinny post.
Harry lined up at the top of your screen, or at the bottom of your screen. Moran dumps it off. And the tackle made at the 15-yard line. It's Taj DeCarrier, a gain of 16 for Chandler. And all of a sudden, without Chase Lucas, dynamic here changes right off the bat for Chandler. Harry lined up at the bottom of your screen, 1st and 10. Colby Taylor in motion. He gets it on the fly sweep. That's a quarterback keeper that everybody fooled, including the defense. There is a flag on the play. Moran got into the end zone. Well, the sales job certainly was there.
Yeah, definitely the execution. And the play fake there was fantastic.
Touchdown is good. 5-yard face mask. Defense. That penalty being forced on the kickoff.
Well, we already get to see the athletic ability of this Chandler quarterback, Mason Moran. When the new batch of rankings come out, he's a name to look up. He's a 3-star recruit for now.
Yeah, definitely. After runs like that, and I believe that this offense will have more design runs for him with his athletic ability. He'll find the end zone and pay dirt often this year.
Extra point attempt by Justin Lubitz is good. Point, counter point, punch, counter punch. Bishop Gorman scores. Chandler answers right back. A 15-yard run by number 15. Chase Lucas getting a lot of hugs on that Chandler sideline, the ESPN 300 running back who has offers from about 2/3 of the Pac-12. Hurt what appeared to be his leg on the opening kickoff. The first kickoff that he fielded for Chandler, I should say. Take one more look. Yikes.
Oh, man. And that knee just got caught up underneath. And the reason why this is such a vital piece for Chandler is because, yes, he plays the H-back position. They line him up all over the field, in the backfield, out wide, but he also plays on defense. At times, he will take on the top wide receiver. They had plans for him today to play on defense at the safety and cornerback position. So perhaps maybe definitely one of your best players, but maybe your best all-around player on this team looks to be out for Chandler.
Yeah, well, we don't have any official word, but I think it's safe to assume he's out for the game, and you hope whatever it is, it can be a speedy recovery and a full recovery.
Indeed. Yeah, those are the things that these types of games are great, but when you see a player like that who wanted to come out here, compete, put on a good show for the fans, those are just the disappointing stories of what can happen when you play a physical sport like football.
Austin Arnold from the 9. Breaks the tackle. Across the 30-yard line and finally down at the 32, a 24-yard return. A Geico ESPN High School football kickoff tomorrow at 2. This is going to be a star-studded affair. Miramar against IMG Academy. IMG has 7 ESPN 300 players.
Wow.
6 ESPN Junior 300 players.
That is definitely a star-studded game for sure.
There are some dudes, as we like to say.
Indeed.
Martell finds Arnold in the flat. And he's taken down after a gain of 9 to the 42, 2nd and 1. That's a good matchup to watch there, Austin Arnold. 6 foot, 191-pound wide receiver who could get some looks. He's a junior. Matched up there by Kyrie Woods. Number 6 in white at the top of your screen for Chandler. He's a 3-star corner who's committed to San Diego State. Now matched up on Lindsey. It's a run play, though. And Biagio Ali Walsh gets to the 45, and he's got a first down. When you see a high school team huddle in this day and age, it gives you pause. You just don't see it that often now.
Very true.
We saw Chandler go at warp speed on its first drive. Second timeout already used up by the Gales of Bishop Gorman. We'll stay here, 6:25 to go, first quarter. Bishop Gorman scored on its opening drive. Defensive tackle Haskell Garrett punched it in from a yard out. Chandler responded after a nice kickoff return. Mason Moran ran it in from 15 yards out, but the key injury here for Chandler, their ESPN 300 running back Chase Lucas went down on that kickoff, and it appears he's done for the game, and it could be a lot worse.
Yeah, and you know, if you're Coach Guano for Chandler, you've got to pull him. You know, this is a game that you're going to need this kid. If you're going to defend your state title there in Arizona, he's a major part and a major piece of that. And it's very unfortunate to see that happen. And best wishes to this young man as you said earlier, as he tries to recover.
Chandler state champions in Arizona last year. First state title for the Wolves since 1949. Lindsey matched up on Woods, top of your screen, and that's too high, intended for Lindsey. Tate Martell felt the pressure that time.
Sam Pepper all in the backfield here, and this was something that Tate Martell talked to us about yesterday. He said he wants to start making more plays from the pocket. Last year, a lot of times, that type of pressure was flushing out of the pocket. You see him with his creativity, but that time, Tate Martell trying to sit in the pocket and find his comrade, Lindsey.
Pistol look. Now they'll move to more of a regular shotgun. 2nd down and 10. 5-man rush. Martell downfield. Lindsey was in the area code, but covered well by Isaiah Swan.
Yeah, and it appeared to be some miscommunication between Lindsey and Martell there, as he ran more of a higher angle on his corner route rather than trying to get flattened underneath the defender as Martell laid it out there. You don't see that a lot out of those two guys. Typically, when you watch them on film, their chemistry is outstanding. It's like they have ESP with one another. They know exactly where the other person's going to be.
Those two grew up together outside of San Diego. Lindsey lived with the Martells growing up. And we've got a timeout from Chandler. So both teams have burned through 3 timeouts collectively here in this first quarter. 7-7 game. Bishop Gorman on the move, facing 3rd and 10. Third and 10 for Bishop Gorman. A long shot, former Texas Longhorn Ahmad Brooks. Anish Raff, Las Vegas, Nevada, Fertitta Field. Bishop Gorman and the Chandler, a battle of state champions. Biagio Ali Walsh, open sesame, 10-5, touchdown!
Wow. You know, we were sitting in the meeting yesterday, and they said that he was the fastest player on the team. I think he showed it there as he continued to burst. That was a nice run.
A 55-yard touchdown run. The point after is good. Ahmad, we're not just talking speed. There's a flag on the play.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 9. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat the try.
So Bishop Gorman not declining the penalty, although a couple of players were making that motion. And now it appears they will try another point after.
Maybe.
Well, let's go back to
first game jitter.
Biagio Ali Walsh. We were told he's been clocked under 4.4 in the 40. That is some serious speed.
Yeah, that was surprising. You know, when we were sitting in the room with, of course, Alex Perry, we were sitting in the room with Tate Martell and Tyjon Lindsey, and we asked who the fastest player was on the team. And the consensus was that he was. And that was shocking to me. But when you see a run like that, it's clear to see why this young man will continue to also rise up the list.
And I should mention, we spoke to his mom, Rashida, yesterday. She told us she's the track star. She's the daughter of Muhammad Ali, Biagio, the grandson. There's some good genetics at work. Grandfather is the famous one, but give Mom a lot of credit for the wheels.
Yeah, no question about it. And it wasn't just speed on this play. It was an excellent play call as everyone has shifted to Tyjon Lindsey on the left side. He had 3 defenders over the top of him, and all of a sudden the running back pops out. You're not expecting on defense a run play on a 3rd and long. It caught the defense off guard, and the execution was flawless. The play call, though, give credit to the coaching staff for taking a risk there that paid off.
Ollie Walsh, look at the numbers from a year ago. Averaged better than 12 yards per carry. He does have a couple of FBS offers. His old coach, Tony Sanchez, now at UNLV, offered him. And fittingly, Louisville offered him. Muhammad Ali, the Louisville Lip. Chandler will bring it out just shy of the 25-yard line. Ohio State, the defending national champion with the #1 recruiting class in the nation. Alabama, which has had the last 4 #1 classes, sits at 5. Folks, the Big Ten is coming. The Buckeyes won it all last year. Michigan State has been a mainstay on the national scene. 4 11 or more win seasons in the last 5 years. Michigan now recruiting in the top 10 with Harbaugh. Penn State at #4, now off sanctions. James Franklin can go get some guys. You get a feeling that program is about to come back. And don't sleep on Maryland. Under Armour has said they're going to put some money into that program to try to turn Maryland into what Oregon is out in Eugene with Nike. Moran fires in the slot, has his receiver, and it's caught by Taylor, a gain of 7. Colby Taylor, also from some pretty good bloodlines. Dad Keith played in the NFL. Uncle John, former wide receiver for the 49ers. Loose ball. And Taylor able to recover at the 25-yard line. Chandler caught a break.
They did, and when you talk to Coach Iguano, he talks about them having package plays a lot of times, and that means that it's up to the quarterback, Moran, whether he wants to give that thing, pull it out, or even pass in some cases. You saw there some indecision, which caused him to pull the ball out a tad bit late, and those are the types of things that you hope happens at the early part of the season and not the latter part, but this is the first game, and coaches perhaps may overlook it.
Let's see if they go to N'Keal Harry. They do. Harry makes the catch. And he's brought down after picking up enough for a first down. N'Keal Harry, an Under Armour All-American with a gain of 12.
Yeah, this kid can affect the game with short routes, intermediate routes, deep routes. He's just got it all. The skill set to be able to take a hitch to the house with explosiveness, but also his leaping ability. If you throw it downfield, it's going to be tough. And we'll see it tonight at some point. I'm sure Moran will give him one.
Moran to the air, going long, and a little too long. Again, intended for Harry.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. As you see Harry, he had one-on-one coverage on the outside. He just runs the post and throws his hand up to Mason Moran to give him the rock, and didn't have the juice there. But Moran will learn. In a situation like that, give the big fella a shot. Throw it in his vicinity. You don't have to overthrow it. You don't have to throw it on the money. Just throw it where he can catch it, because he's got an excellent catching radius.
That was just Moran's second incompletion of the season. 4 for 5 tonight, 14 for 15 last Thursday. On the ground and nothing doing. A loss of 1 by Anthony Clay. And that's Haskell Garrett blowing up that play in the backfield. Another four-star junior, another ESPN junior 300 player for Bishop Gorman.
I like this kid. They just moved him down to a one technique. He played a little defensive end last year. Most scouts project he will play at defensive tackle at the next level, and you see him there changing the line of scrimmage. That's something that if he can become known for, he'll make a lot of plays.
On 3rd and long, Bishop Gorman all over it.
Wow, and that's team defense. You can get every player in the frame. You talk about suffocating defense on 3rd down. The offense trying to let them come through on the rush. That time, though, they change direction. They peel back on the screen. Coach Sanchez has to be happy anytime you can get the ball back into the hands of your offense.
Coach Sanchez was telling us he's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
Those are the plays more than the dynamics on offense that excite him.
Yes, indeed. And, defense has to be played with enthusiasm, energy, and excitement. And you could just see it oozing out of his veins yesterday as we talked to him.
Tyjon Lindsey back deep to return the punt. And he'll have a chance inside the 30. Lindsey tackled in the open field at the 31-yard line. Nice tackle by Ty O'Neal. ESPN's coverage of high school football begins this weekend with the Geico High School Football Kickoff. But it continues throughout the regular season with a full slate of games. You can keep up with the latest from the recruiting trail on Recruiting Nation each week. The season ends with the Under Armour High School All-America game. And, of course, signing day, February 3rd. It's become a holiday of sorts for some folks in the college football community.
No question. I'm a junkie. I sit around, I watch where the kids are going, everything. It's a fun time.
Martell to Lindsey, unable to slip free from that one. Good pursuit by Isaiah Swan, and that'll go as a loss of 6.
That was great. He recognized the play on the outside edge. He fights off the block and then tackles one of the most dynamic players on the field in Lindsey. Those are the types of plays that if Chandler is going to win a ball game like this, they've got to have individual efforts like that.
2nd and long. Martell rolling out on the run, throws across his body, and it's incomplete. 3rd down and long now. It was intended for Arnold. Now that's a play maybe you can get away with at the high school level. I'm not sure that works in the SEC.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And this kid is a gambler. He will get outside of the pocket, and it keeps the defense on his toes because you never know where he's going. But that is an ill-advised throw thrown across your body. And at the next level, there are DBs, linebackers, and safeties who are waiting for those opportunities to get an interception.
Third and long, 4-man rush, screen. Ali Walsh. And he gets all the way to the 39-yard line. It'll bring up 4th down and 2. Tate Martell is the punter. The quarterback also punts. And Martell looking to get instruction from Kenny Sanchez.
And if you ever are thinking about a time for a fake, usually from 140 to the other 40 on both sides is where coaches like to take that risk because you can still you're still in a position where if you don't get it, you have decent field position and you don't lose a lot there. So I would expect to see a fake at some point inside of the 40s here for Gorman or for Chandler.
Amani Lee and Colby Taylor back deep in tandem for Chandler, and now a flag.
Five yards, still 4th down.
That changes the play. 5 yards in a situation like this. Definitely, if there was a fake called, I guarantee you Coach Sanchez is thinking twice about it now.
Pretty good punt by Martell. And Taylor signals for the fair catch, makes it at the 26-yard line. If you're just joining us, Bishop Gorman scored on its opening possession. Ensuing kickoff, Chase Lucas, one of the stars for Chandler and ESPN 300 running back. A nice return, but it ended like this, and you can see how that knee snaps back. He would go down, was actually stretched out on that table for a while, got a lot of hugs, a lot of handshakes. His day appears to be done. You hope it's not anything more serious, but that injury just did not look good watching it in real time and watching the replays. Moran to the air, dangerous pass and bracket coverage. And now you see Lucas on crutches on the sidelines. And you feel for that poor young man, a senior, heavily recruited. 8 Pac-12 schools had offered him. And you hope it doesn't hurt his draft stock, or I should say his prospect stock too much.
Well, when you're a competitor, you want to be out in games like this where you're taking on top talent. So I know that's devastating for that young man.
Whistle was blown. It's a gain of 5 by N'Keal Harry on that fly sweep.
As you can see, it took about 8 guys to drag him down. Big frame. And you would think that a lot of those touches coming across the field usually would go to Lucas. But when you've got a dynamic playmaker like N'Keal Harry, you've got to use all the options you have. And maybe a play that he's not suited the best for, but that time picking up some yardage for his team.
Harry is drawn. Interest from the top schools in the country. Oregon, Texas, Texas A&M, UCLA. Wisconsin offered him, as did both Arizona schools. Moran flushed, under pressure. And it's incomplete. There is a flag on the play. Flag all the way near midfield.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 22 defense. 10 yards from the previous spot. Result is the first down. We will have 1 untimed down in the first quarter. 1 untimed down.
Big break for Chandler. Holding is not an automatic first down in the high school game. But if the play results in a first down, then you get the first down like you normally would.
That's a big play right there because, you know, here it is, Chandler looking for momentum. They haven't scored since their opening drive. They're trying to get some things going, and plays like that can swing the momentum for a team to be able to do some special things.
From the 41, Micah Reed Campos in the backfield. He's been the guy since Lucas went down. Here's Reed Campos trying to spin away from trouble and is stopped at the line of scrimmage. We have reached the end of one quarter here in Vegas. Bishop Gorman, some fireworks early, but Chandler showing some fight on the road. 14-7, Bishop Gorman on top. Bishop Gorman leading Chandler 14-7. As you see the Las Vegas Strip in the background. Here's what happened in Vegas last year. Gorman taking on St. John Bosco out of California. 1 versus 2. Tate Martell improvising with his feet. A 5-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. The big play, though, was Martell to Tyjon Lindsey. 67 yards. Bishop Gorman pulled away in the third quarter, held off St. John Bosco in the fourth. And that would eventually propel the Gales to a national championship. Tony Sanchez was the coach of that team. He is now the head coach at UNLV.
Beloved in this community, too.
No question.
Go around, people talk about him, and they wish him success, obviously, at the next level.
On second down, that one a little too high for Colby Taylor. So 3rd and 10 here for Chandler, and already in this early going, we have seen a lot of 3rd and longs present themselves for Chandler.
Yeah, and this is another tough one here as they open it up to 4 wides. They'll try to spread this defense out. Harry looks like he's going to be lining up in the slot to the wide side of the field, and if that is the case, look for a matchup on a nickel back, dime back, and something that maybe Moran could take advantage of.
Alex Perry, number 4 in black. He's a 4-star cornerback who's committed to Arizona State.
Right now, outside linebacker Sam Pepper on one of the top wide receivers in all of high school football.
Pressure off the edge. Moran in trouble and is sacked.
Five-man pressure here. You can do that in 3rd and long situations. You see, just on the back of Mason there, he tries to get underneath, but an excellent job. A lot of times in those situations when you got a clean shot on the quarterback, you miss. All because it's so rare that it happens, but an excellent job there of making the tackle and securing the play.
Yeah, sacked by Palaio Gatiate. N'Keal Harry punting. He wants a mulligan on this one. It does take a Chandler bounce. Boy, did he ever need it. But it's down at the 46-yard line. So outstanding starting field position for Bishop Gorman.
He won't be recruited as a punter, that's for sure. But the good thing is he's an excellent wide receiver, so he doesn't need to be. But look at this thing here, man. He kicked that thing off of his shin, and you can see there the frustration from a player who's used to making big-time plays.
Any potential college coach watching has just taken that off the table.
No question. I'm not sure if it was on the table for him.
Martell hands it off to Jonathan Shoemaker. Tate Martell last Thursday using social media to announce his commitment to Texas A&M, and this was not the first time that he committed. Martell, before he entered the 8th grade, gave a verbal commitment to then Washington head coach Steve Sarkisian. He decommitted in January, but told us yesterday Sarkisian's current employer, USC, was one of the 2 finalists, along with Texas A&M. Martell on the run, flag on the play, and he scampers out of bounds. And now another flag at the end of the play.
That is an example, though, of what this young man is capable of doing when the pressure does get home. There was coverage downfield. You see him that time buying time with his feet to get outside and to try to make things happen.
Holding. Offense, number 73. Also, after the play, personal foul. Offense, number 18. Both fouls will be enforced. 10 yards for holding, 15 for the personal foul. Down counts. Repeat the down. 2nd down.
Yeah, you see it here. You're going to see exactly why Coach Sanchez is yelling at him here. Definitely some late contact. But the person who retaliates is always the one that gets called with the penalty. Tate Martell, they're not able to control or compose himself in the situation. They got a little heated. And Coach Sanchez showing that he will go right after perhaps his best player and is still talking to him and making sure that he understands and getting the message loud and clear.
So a drive that began at the 46-yard line of Bishop Gorman is now backed up almost 30 yards from that spot. Bishop Gorman with the ball at the 15. So you're looking at 2nd and 45. Martell in trouble. Down he goes. Sacked at the 13-yard line. It's 3rd and infinity.
When you have long situations like that, you're going to call deeper routes require more time, and that time the pressure gets to him. The pocket got kind of tight, bodies everywhere. Martell trying to make something happen with his feet. But an excellent job from this Chandler defense, fighting back, keeping their team in the game as it's 3rd and 36.
Well, now it's 3rd and 52. What's the play call on 3rd and 52? Got one? Is there one in the books for 3rd and 52? A helmet came off as Ollie Walsh takes it to the 20-yard line. I got to be honest, I'm not sure I've seen a 3rd and 52.
It confused everybody. The board here has 3rd and 36. I'm sure nobody's seen that before. First time as a football player or as an analyst that I've ever seen anything like that.
Coming up, the 2014 ESPN 300. Where are they now? Well, now about a much more manageable 4th and 36. Punting situation, obviously, but it's no 3rd and 52. Martell's got a pretty good leg. And a fair catch signal at the 44-yard line. A 35-yard punt coming up. The 2014 ESPN 300. We'll tell you where they are now. Number 10 in white, KT Tellini, flagged at the end of the punt return with a fair catch. So Chandler will be backed up to start. Where are they now? The top players from the class of 2014 in the ESPN 300. There's some names that you'll know. Cam Robinson, number 1 offensive tackle. Terrific last year for Alabama, starting the SEC. Only Herschel Walker ran for more yards in a single season at Georgia than Nick Chubb did last year as a true freshman. Adoree Jackson, a triple threat at USC. Myles Garrett broke Jadeveon Clowney's SEC freshman sack record. And Brad Kaya was the ACC Freshman of the Year. From the 30-yard line, Micah Reed, Campos, engulfed in the backfield. It's going to be a loss of a yard. 2nd down. Ikem Okeke led the charge along with Haskell Garrett.
There he goes again. Garrett playing in Chandler's backfield all night. This time just splitting a double team, getting into the backfield, and making a play on a running back. And that's where you see his size really be a benefit as he's low to the ground, a nice center of gravity.
Against the 4-man rush, intercepted. Moran threw it in traffic, and it's picked off. Paula Gatiote with the pick.
This time Moran just gets underneath, and that time, great job as they had a vice on the gentleman who's actually taking the place of Lucas Kobe Taylor. He reads it and just beats him to it. It wasn't the ball wasn't thrown in the perfect location, but still, you got to make a play on that. I've seen defensive backs, as they say, sometimes defensive backs have hands like feet. And that time able to secure the catch, and what a big turnover for this Gorman team as they now have a short field position.
So how were your feet?
My feet were better than my hands, and that's why I played DB.
Martell on the keeper, and he's dropped right at the 30-yard line, a gain of a yard. On the tackle, Hamilcar Rashid. Rashid last year had 10 sacks in one game. Now, granted, it was against a team that did not win a game all season, but listen, 10 sacks in one game.
Look, that's one of those highlights
Can't
you never forget. Yeah, no doubt. Good point. If you can't do it on Madden or NCAA football, and you can do it in a real game, you're really doing something.
Tyjon Lindsey has been quiet after some big plays early. Martell on the run. There is a flag back at the 30. Martell out of bounds at the 20-yard line. This might be a penalty here on Bishop Gorman. And Tyjon Lindsey limping now near midfield.
He got tripped up coming across on that motion.
Illegal block below the waist. Offense, number 75. 15 yards, replay, second down.
That's Jaron Caldwell, the left tackle. He's committed to UNLV, as is Bishop Gorman's right tackle, Julio Garcia. And penalties really have hurt both teams the last two possessions.
You're absolutely right. And as you look at it, this is the first game. And coaches, if any game of the year are prepared to see these types of mistakes, mental errors, it comes in the first ball game. So look for this team, both of them, to settle down after halftime and come back out here and hopefully play a cleaner football game.
2nd and 25, which after 3rd and 52 should be cake. And a flag on that far sideline. Austin Arnold was the target. Isaiah Swan was on coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Look at this again here. I'm not sure if that's a catchable ball or not. That is one of those calls that are tough. That's why I'm not an official. As it looked like there, it just looked like some incidental contact and perhaps maybe a push there at the end. But when you're jockeying for position, that sometimes happens.
Now the official said automatic first down, but defensive pass interference is not automatic first down in high school, so it'll be 2nd and 10. Basically, it brings us all the way back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they just traded penalties.
Martell steps up on the run, looking for the end zone. Touchdown, Bishop Gorman, Tyjon Lindsey. Well, those two are like brothers, Martell and Lindsey. In fact, Lindsey's legal guardians are the Martells. They've grown up together. They're housemates here in Las Vegas. There is a chemistry between those two, junior to junior. The top two players in the state of Nevada and the junior class. Championship Drive presented by Capital One, Monday 6 Eastern on ESPNU and the Watch ESPN app. We're done with all our season previews, actual games.
Are you happy about that?
Had one today. North Dakota State, 4-time defending FCS champ, going down to Montana. But next Thursday, North Carolina, South Carolina from Charlotte.
Football is here.
Football is here.
Yes, it is.
And Labor Day, Ohio State against the last team to beat them, Virginia Tech. And what is being billed is the most anticipated regular season game in the history of Lane Stadium. will be a touchback. In high school, any kick that crosses the plane of the goal line, automatically a dead ball. You cannot return it.
Yeah, I like that rule. And kick returners who make bad decisions should like that rule too. Because oftentimes you see guys get in that end zone, and even if your up man's trying to tell you, hey, stay in, you come out. So I like that rule, and I think it also prevents guys from those really severe collisions where you see guys running for 40, 50 yards and colliding with another player who's running full speed.
Mason Moran started 4 for 4, 0 for 5 since. The senior, a 3-star prospect who has committed to Oregon State. This is just his second varsity start at quarterback. N'Keal Harry in motion. Moran on the run, eludes one defender. And then forced to go down at the 20-yard line as the pressure closed. Only a yard, 2nd and 9.
That was great coverage in the back end, led by the outstanding corner for Bishop Gorman, number 4, Alex Perry, covering 2 guys in zone coverage. And this is a team, Gorman, who likes to run cover 2, and they allow their corners to be able to play with instinct and find work.
N'Keal Harry, top of your screen. Moran looks the other way, and it's 3rd and 9.
Intended for number 13.
I think you got to cut Moran a little slack. This is a lot for a kid who does not have a ton of experience at the QB position. Last year he backed up Bryce Perkins, who was the player of the year in Arizona and led Chandler to a state title. Bryce's older brother Paul, the running back at UCLA, who led the Pac-12 in rushing last season. On 3rd down, Harry makes the catch and gets it up for a 1st down. It's a gain of 11.
There's no doubt that he's still learning the position, but it's easy when you got a wide receiver like N'Keal Harry. This is what he has a tendency to do. Because he's a taller wide receiver, sometimes it takes him a long time to get in and out of his breaks. But despite that, he's got soft hands, he's got great size, and that still allows him to make a big catch and move the chains for Chandler.
Moran will keep it on the read option, nowhere to go. Ran into a phalanx of defenders, only a yard.
Yeah, and to be able to stop those plays, if you're Gorman's defense, you've got to have good eye discipline, make sure you're following the ball appropriately. And they've done that for the most part this night, and that's why you see this Chandler offense with only 7 points on the board.
From the 34-yard line.
Harry at the top of your screen, press coverage. Brendan Radley Hines. Bishop Gorman read the read option, and Moran made the wrong read.
Yeah, and we've seen that a few times tonight. As he's still learning the position, he'll continue to get better with that decision making, but give credit to the Gorman defense as they have been dissecting that play all night. And they run that zone read power, the zone read, quite often. It's certainly one of the top plays in their playbook.
There is a penalty marker. We've seen a lot of them tonight. You know, maybe we forget some of these high school officials may like the airtime as well. I was watching, I think it was the DeSoto game earlier today. And man, their head referee was terrific, scene stealer.
It's got to be fun for them too.
Dan Hawkins called him out a couple times too.
No doubt. Or former ball coach.
On 3rd and long, Moran under pressure again, and down he goes. Haskell Garrett there to bring him down. Garrett has been all over the field, and Moran has been under pressure this entire second quarter.
He has, and that time he actually had Harry in one-on-one coverage who had gotten over the top and was open. But because of the pressure coming from Garrett, it flushed him out of the pocket. He didn't see it soon enough, couldn't go through all of his progressions, and now you see a punt for this Chandler team.
So N'Keal Harry will punt it away. He gets a lot of hang time, not a lot of distance. And this one goes out of bounds at the Bishop Gorman 47. Just a 19-yard punt. Tom Luginbill joins us on the other side of the break.
Magic Tom Luginbill coming up at halftime. We'll break down Tate Martell, showing why you guys gave him a good evaluation.
Hashtag short guys rule, man. The 5'11 theme continues.
The A&M verbal. We love short guys ruling. And Josh Rosen, going to start for UCLA. Played on that very field. Anish?
Thank you, Matt. Speaking of short guys, alongside Ahmad Brooks, I'm Anish Shroff. We both don't crack 6 feet. Tom Luginbill does. Okay. We'll bring him into the conversation. Tom, I know you'll talk a lot about Tate Martell at halftime, but Chase Lucas, we saw what happened early in the game. He goes down. He's on crutches on the sideline. If it's a serious injury, not just to Chase Lucas, but anybody, what can that do to a guy's stock?
Well, you certainly, to be honest with you, in the grand scheme of things, are better off not having it happen in the sophomore and junior year where you're missing that lead-up time. What he's had the luxury of is having been established as a sophomore and a junior, which has led to his recruitment. He is a known commodity, and hopefully it's not serious. But certainly I don't think it's something that's a detriment to what his future prospects will be moving on to the next level.
There's Tyjon Lindsey on that fly sweep, using the speed, run out of bounds at midfield. Luke's impressions on number 25, Lindsey.
Man, he is a jackrabbit in cleats. I mean, the ultimate space player. And as we've seen the game become vertical and horizontal, and with all the fly sweep and the bubble screen and the things, little dink and dunk things that are just made to get your best athlete in space to create a mismatch, he is the ultimate mismatch in space. And we've seen that throughout the night. Chandler's having a hard time corralling him.
Martell, quick release. That one dropped. Incomplete. Austin Arnold could not hold on. To go back to Lindsey, he's a guy who has an offer now from Ohio State, has one from Oregon. He says DeAnthony Thomas is his favorite player. One would think if he and Martell are not a package deal, that Oregon would be a pretty good fit for this kid, wouldn't it?
Well, I think it would be a tremendous fit, not only as an offensive utility weapon, but potentially as a return guy because he can flip field position. You know, with an offense like Oregon or some of these spreads, they're doing such a good job mobilizing the different types of players in different alignments and different formations to get the most out of them. He fits the bill.
Martell improvising, throws on the run, and that's broken up by Swan, 4th and 10. Now, Lindsey's speed has been on display today, Ahmad.
Yeah, he's fantastic. And like I said, he's a home run hitter, and he's a touchdown waiting to happen. That was one of the nastiest jump cuts I've seen in a while. 2 touches in a row to open this game, and you see why. And then here, I love this. He goes over the top of coverage. He could have went underneath, but an experienced player gets over the top. It led to points, and as Luke said, this kid is an ideal fit for any team that's running a spread formation that can get him out in space and put him in one-on-one opportunity.
4th down. Offense on the field for Bishop Gorman. But Martell's going to pooch punt this. Taylor lets it bounce and into the end zone. So Chandler's offense will come back out on the field. Tom, N'Keal Harry, number 4 wide receiver in the ESPN 300. You have said this is a guy that could be the number 1 receiver in his class come signing day. Why?
Tremendous size and strength coupled with top-end speed that you don't see from 6'4" targets. You know, I think that's the thing that stands out about this class of receivers is it's eclectic. They're all shapes and sizes, but there are several big receivers, long-armed, big physical guys that run like they're 5'11", 6 foot. And so when you have that type of physicality, and the ability to not only take the ball away from people in contested matchups or be that jump ball guy in the red area, but can also take the top off of defense. Those guys aren't growing on trees.
Micah Reed Campos spun across the 25 to the 27. Is there a guy that Harry reminds you of?
You know, there really is. He reminds me an awful lot of a faster version of Alshon Jeffrey at South Carolina, now with the Chicago Bears. You see the build, you're looking at him right now, very similar in stature. As I referenced, much better top-end speed, but that same acrobatic feel of catching tough passes and being a threat on contested matchups down the sideline.
Yeah, you see him here. He's not the best when it comes to the top of his route, but as you said it, Luke, he's got great hands, and that big frame really does shield off defenders. Once again, they're great instinct and hand and eye coordination to get his hands back there as Moran threw the ball over the wrong shoulder. But this kid certainly looks like an impact player now and at the next level. He's got all the skills to be great.
3rd and 3, Moran to the air. Downfield, incomplete for Taylor, and another penalty marker. Colby Taylor, who has offers from Arizona State, Louisville, and Oregon State, the intended target. Tom Luganbill will stay with us through halftime.
Pass interference. Defense, number 5. 15 yards. Results in the first down.
Tom, we've heard a lot about guys being package deals. N'Keal Harry and Chase Lucas, Tate Martell and Tyjon Lindsey. We hear that a lot. How often does that actually work out where both guys, at various schools end up going to the same place when you hear their package deals?
Seldom, if ever, and that's really the truth of it. I think, what happens is guys become very close and they're camping with each other and they're in practice and they're in class and they're talking to the same coaches to the same colleges and they kind of get lumped and grouped together. But ultimately what ends up happening is they're going to take their visits and they're going to get a feel for each and every program on their own.
Holding. Number 1, offense. 10 yards. Replay, first down.
So the holding penalty on N'Keal Harry. Again, Harry, number 56 in the ESPN 300. Number 1 player in Arizona. And the 4th rated wide receiver in his class. Tom, a game like this, what can it do for the 2-star, 3-star guy, even the guy who may not be on a coach's radar or a college team's radar?
Oh, I think it can be significant because these are the moments before the coaches can get out on the road in the fall and start viewing games in person, get some early looks at guys. It's early in the season, and so many of the high-profile prospects that have been recruited for the last 2 or 3 years, as we see the ball going down the sideline here for Harry, who makes a great grab, looks like he's going to be out of bounds. So many of these guys have already been established, so the ones that have not been, they're the ones that have the opportunity to put themselves on display and maybe catch the eye. And it doesn't necessarily have to be at Power 5 programs. Maybe it's some middle tier programs as well. Exposure never hurts if you perform well on the big stage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 4. 15 yards from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Oh, that penalty on Alex Perry, the 4-star corner.
Well, immediately you saw the one-on-one opportunity down here, and Moran recognized it. He went to his big play wide receiver. Once again, those types of plays, for me, you look like you're jockeying for position. But where he's wrong, Perry as a cornerback, you can't have that hand high. If you're going to keep it there, keep it low where the official can't see it. And oftentimes they don't call it. But when you go high, more than likely the officials will call pass interference.
Perry again matched up on Harry. It's a run play, and it's Reed Campos getting to the 46-yard line. Ahmad, Tom, both of you guys can speak to this. Tom, you go first. Those individual matchups, when you see a guy like Harry matched up on an Alex Perry, does that give you guys a better chance, a better gauge of these players' abilities?
Absolutely. And, I always reference this story, and N'Keal Harry's an Under Armour All-American for us for this class. And back in 2008, there was a matchup at the Under Armour All-America game between Julio Jones and Janoris Jenkins in the first day in practice. And that initial rep of that one-on-one told the whole story of what type of player they both were when it came to competitiveness. And it allows you to evaluate a guy versus another guy of equal caliber talent.
Ball start. Offense, number 74. 5 yards, still first down.
That's Josiah Perry, the right tackle. Well, we've had a lot of penalties here in this first half. 2:24 to go. Chandler with the ball near midfield, trailing by 2 scores. And again, we see Perry matched up on Harry. Press coverage on the outside, top of your screen. Moran throws it in the opposite direction. Contact and a penalty. Man.
The penalty, but did you see who's covering right now?
Tyjon Lindsey.
Superstar. Out there on the edges. More penalties. Wow.
This crowd getting a little restless with the penalties.
Holding. Defense, number 25. 10 yards from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
So Bishop Gorman has now been penalized 8 times for 100 yards already.
Yikes.
With a couple of minutes to go here in this first half. Anish Shroff, Ahmad Brooks, Tom Luganbill with us via satellite, I guess you could say, in the studio. Me and Matt Schick have halftime coming up in 2 minutes. Bishop Gorman on defense, Chandler on offense. And it's Chandler with a first down at the 39. Moran downfield wants Harry. And Harry lays out. The throw just a little ahead. Tom, what do you make of Chandler's quarterback?
I think he's a late bloomer. And, what Gary Anderson and that staff is going to be able to do with him is bring him along as you see him try and throw this ball just over the outstretched fingertips of the target. Bring him along at a normal rate. Redshirt him, not thrust him into duty. Allow him to both develop mentally and physically and blossom and grow into his own. That's how the Sean Manions of the world come along. They may not be the instant physical presence that you see with some kids, because all kids develop at different rates. But I'll tell you what, guys, in today's college football climate, the value of redshirting is almost going by the wayside, and those who still have the luxury of doing it are going to see benefits with more kids throughout the bulk of their roster and the depth of their roster. And Oregon State's one of those programs that can.
First down after a nice run by Reed Campos. Moran throws it up for Harry. And Harry gets it and a flag. Coverage again by the Arizona State commit, Alex Perry.
Yeah, this is going, I want to see the call here and where they go, because there was some tussling on both sides. But it's clear to see that N'Keal Harry obviously is a player that has tremendous hops and jumping ability, as he was able to go over the 6-foot Perry's head.
I'm just hoping to get a play without laundry.
I'm with you, partner.
Longest half in recorded history, boys.
No doubt, Lutz.
Pass interference. Offense, number 1. 15 yards from the previous spot. Replay, first down.
Yeah, I saw this when it came, and I've said this. I think a lot of incidental contact, but great jam at the line of scrimmage from Perry. And right here you see it, the push, the separation. I don't even know. I mean, if I'm calling there, and this is why I'm not an official,
Tom,
if I'm calling there, I'm telling you, I wouldn't call that pass interference.
That was a horrible call, guys. That's 2 guys battling for the football, going up, contested matchup, and the bigger matchup won. I'm really surprised at that call.
And at the next level, that type of contact usually goes overlooked.
We see Perry matched up on Harry again. Moran downfield to nobody.
Garrett in his face once again.
There has not been much rhythm in this second quarter because of the penalties. Both teams have moved the ball here and there and then been shoots and ladders with the flags.
Luke, I want to ask you about Haskell Garrett. He's an interesting prospect, played a little DN now at the D tackle position. How do you see this young man panning out?
You know, this is one of those guys that's really active. He's a high motor player, and you see an awful lot of that actually out of this ball club. That's the type of player that they're playing with. Maybe not ideal in terms of the measurable standard that you'd like to have for the position, but sometimes when you don't have that portion of it and you have what I call the motor and the constant wanting to be great, sometimes that can take you to another level. I think he's got an opportunity to potentially at one point blossom into a 300-pounder, but we just like his motor. I think that's the thing that stands out, and oftentimes a guy either has it or he doesn't.
Yeah, Garrett, the number 11 defensive end in the ESPN Junior 300, offers in from Nebraska, Texas A&M, UCLA, UNLV, USC, Washington. And with A&M in the mix and Tate Martell committed to A&M, Martell made no secret about it. He's trying to get Tyjon Lindsey and Haskell to College Station, and he said after this game he's going to start making the pitch to N'Keal Harry. Tom, how common is that? Because all these top guys now know each other, where one guy commits and all of a sudden they become really the chief recruiter for that school.
Well, it's significant because ultimately there's no rules for the prospects. So when a program or a coach can't get on the phone or they can't see anybody face to face, these kids are all talking to each other, whether through social media or on the phone, and they camp and they combine with each other. They might be on campus for a college camp together, and they get close, and some of them identify with a lot of the same things they want.
Luke's kids don't talk on the phone these days. They Snapchat and text. Come on.
I know I'm old school, boys. I'm sorry. I might even call you when the game's over, Anish.
We're in Vegas. That may be a bad idea. Moran going downfield. Incomplete. 3rd and long.
Yeah, and Luke's is right. I remember doing my recruiting process. It came down between Texas and Notre Dame, and David Givens, who actually committed to Notre Dame, would call me religiously. And, I mean, once a week on the phone, guys, we want you down here. Come join us. Come be a part of it. And it happens a lot. And they also share information about what the coaching staff is telling them. You'll see a lot of guys pick up information. Coaches will tell you, I'm only recruiting one player at this position. And they get on the line with their friends. They text, as you say, Anish. And they find out really what's being said to other recruits and not just themselves.
So Harry on the punt on 4th and 24. And he got his leg into this one. And it takes a Chandler bounce, and it rolls out of bounds near the 11-yard line. You look at the top 5 players in the ESPN 300. Tom, how does the 2016 class compare to some of the ones that we've had in recent years?
Extremely strong top to bottom along the defensive front, particularly at the defensive tackle position. I think the wide receiver position as a group is the deepest and strongest we've probably seen top to bottom since the 2008 class. But Rashawn Gary is the difference maker. He's the one guy that we look at and we say, okay, red flags, nope, all right, check that box. Premium position, yep, check that box. Motor, yep, check that box. One thing after another. He may be one of the more complete packages we've seen in this class. And again, he kind of headlines what's a strong position group along the defensive front.
All right, Tom, we appreciate your time. We'll hear from you in, I guess, mere seconds here as you get ready to do halftime with Matt Schick. Tate Martell took a knee. Bishop Gorman will take a 2-touchdown lead into the locker room. Season opener for the Gales, game 2 for Chandler, and it is the reigning national champion leading the state champion from Arizona. Time now for the high school football halftime report. Here's Schick and Luginbull.
right, thank you guys. Bishop Gorman with the 27 to lead. It's 21-7 lead at
position. I know Tate Martell says, you know, oh, I'm not into the hype of being compared to Johnny Manziel. But watching those plays, Anish, he looks like a guy to me that in a few years could be the guy at Texas A&M doing similar things to what Johnny Manziel did.
But Chandler will receive the opening kickoff of the third quarter, and it's Micah Reed Campos. Reed Campos across the 20 to the 23-yard line. You're watching the Geico ESPN High School Football Kickoff, a part of the Summer of Next, presented by Geico. First half stats. N'Keal Harry, 2 catches, 24 yards for Chandler. He's the number 1 player in the state of Arizona, the number 4 wide receiver in the ESPN 300. Tyjon Lindsey, who has a ton of offers, including ones from Ohio State and Oregon, was electrifying when we saw him with the ball in his hands in that first half.
Yeah, he certainly was, and they looked for him in a myriad of ways. He got the first 2 touches of the ball game and did something spectacular with it on both plays. He's a fine playmaker, and today, if Gorman has to pull off a victory, they'll need to get him the ball more in the second half.
Colby Taylor in motion. Mason Moran, the Oregon State commit, will keep it.
Quarterback keeper.
And he's out to the 26-yard line, a gain of about 3. Moran got off to a fast start. In fact, Chandler on its opening drive methodically marched down the field. And then that was all she wrote for the Wolves in the first half.
We'll look to see more design runs like you just saw out of Moran for them to settle him down and take advantage of his athleticism.
Moran will keep it again. And he's close to the first down marker. It's going to be enough for a first down. A few times in that first half on read options, Moran made the incorrect read and paid for it.
He did. He had a bobbled snap where he came out and wasn't able to get a clean handoff for the running back. And then there were several times where you saw the indecision, which allowed this Gorman defense to get in his face and make plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Taylor and Johnson swap places at the bottom of your screen. And this is Colby Taylor on the fly sweep. Dives across the 40 to the 41, a gain of 9. A second down and 1. Tackle made there by Bubba Bolden, who has offers from Hawaii and Oklahoma State. Micah Reed Campos gets to the outside. And taken down after he picks up a first down. A tackle made by Pharrell Hester, the middle linebacker. Micah Reed Campos getting the bulk of the carries tonight. Chase Lucas, the starting running back for Chandler, injured on a kickoff early in that first quarter. And Lucas, one of the best running backs in the nation. An ESPN 300 kid who has 8 offers from the Pac-12. Back to Reed Campos. Reed Campos across midfield, second down.
And I think you're starting to see Chandler's game plan and what they're coming out with in the second half. They've put it on the ground each and every play, and I think for them, this is the best way to get Moran comfortable, try to get something going on offense where they can chip away at this deficit as they're down by 14. If they can score on this drive, boy, does it certainly put them in good position to keep this game close.
ESPN 300 versus ESPN Junior 300 up top. And there's N'Keal Harry, and he couldn't hold on. Ikem Okeke got there. Originally, Alex Perry, the Arizona State commit, was matched up on him. Chandler needs to get to the 42 of Bishop Gorman. Play action, screen pass. Taj DeCarrier gobbled up right at the line of scrimmage. And it'll bring up fourth down. Gavin Pansero with the stop.
At that time, it looked like Chandler was anticipating the blitz, which Gorman has done quite often tonight. So you run that screen to get everybody rushing forward, get behind the defenders, a little dink right there to try to pick up a first down. It was unsuccessful because of the recognition from this Gorman defense.
So Chandler will punt it away. Tyjon Lindsey back at his own 10. And N'Keal Harry will punt from his 36. Here's Lindsey from the 11. Parade in the open field. Lindsey on his feet across the 40 and dances out of bounds near the 45-yard line. In USA Today's Super 25, Bishop Gorman checks in at number 3. Last year they finished at number 1.
Yeah, and this is a team that, when we talked to the leaders on this team yesterday, they said they don't compete for state titles anymore. This is a program that has certainly been relevant on the national high school scene, and Tate Martell said it. As you see the young man come out, he said, we're about competing for national titles, and that's what they look for at this program, and it was interesting to hear that type of perspective.
Now, they've won 6 straight Nevada state titles. That's old hat now. Biagio Ali Walsh, who had a long touchdown run in the first half, picks up about 1.5 yards. Tate Martell, the quarterback for Bishop Gorman, committed to Texas A&M, and undeterred by what could be a crowded QB field when he gets to College Station. Kyle Allen, only a sophomore. Kyler Murray, a true freshman, expected to play this year. Martell, incomplete, and it's 3rd and 9. Martell would join Texas A&M in the fall of 2017, so there is a chance Allen may not be there. And maybe the best case scenario is if he redshirts a year and if Kyler Murray's ready to go to the next level or there's some defections, he could have a chance to start pretty quick and may have a chance to start for 3 or 4 years.
Well, what are they doing at A&M? I mean,
well, think about the Johnny factor.
Recruiting.
Is this the Johnny factor?
I would have to agree. I think when you have a player that wins a Heisman, boy, does it put attention at that position at your school. And I think that's what you're seeing.
Martell flushed. Downfield, and that's incomplete. And it's squirted out of the hands of Lindsey, 4th down. Tate Martell told us he wanted to be better in the pocket, and you could see that's a part of his game where he needs a little refinement.
Yeah, and I've seen a couple times tonight, a season ago, this young player would have taken the ball, he'd have run and improvised with his feet. He's really trying to stay in there. He's also trying to look downfield while he's scrambling, not committing to run. And there you see just a near miss on a throw that perhaps if you get your feet set right and you get your body into that throw, maybe you can connect there for a big first down.
Martell punts it away. Fair catch signal by Taylor. He'll let it bounce. And it's down inside the 15. We've got to step aside. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, the one and only Flava Flav joins us in the booth.
Yes.
This may be the highlight of the year in East Ralph, but Mont Brooks joined by the one and only Flava Flav. You're wearing the clock. I mean, this is full regalia. Explain your connection to Bishop Gorman football.
Well, my connection to Bishop football, you know what I'm saying, Muhammad Ali's grandchildren, you know, Biagio and Nico, you know what I'm saying. Right now I'm up here support my man Biagio Walls, who made a touchdown today.
Sweet.
With some, yes, he ran, I think about, I don't know, maybe 55 yards or something. My boy is a beast out there. You know, you hear me and Snoop out there right now? Yeah,
Jamming,
boy, Bishop
man.
Gorman, baby. That's right, the Alis, the Walshes, we in the building.
Still an excellent hype man, we can see.
I can't help. Hey, I'm hyped now being out with y'all.
I'm wondering, what was your reaction when he scored that touchdown?
Hey, yo, I never took gymnastics, but I flipped. Hey, yo, thanks for having me up here, man.
Well, hang around. We want to get some of your thoughts on this game. Well, here we go. That's Colby Taylor's returned around and gets near the 45-yard line.
Wow.
Flava Flav, this is what you were alluding to. Biagio Ali
Yeah,
Walsh.
look at your brother, Nico.
And I'm told he's the fastest player on the team. You
Yes,
buying
he
that, Flav?
is. He is the fastest
Okay,
player on the
all
team.
right, all right.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, but I kind of seen it for myself.
Now you
know what I'm saying?
mentioned Nico, who's his brother, who's also here in the booth with us. Nico
That's
was
right.
telling me you train him in boxing.
Yes, I got him in the boxing right now. You know what I'm saying?
The family business.
Yes, and I ain't gonna lie, but I'm very proud of him. You know what I'm saying? He's packing real hard punches right now. I ain't gonna lie, but at 15 years old, he's beating grown men's butts right now. I ain't gonna lie. I seen it. I seen it in the gym. Nico's throwing a nice punch right now, so I can't wait for him to have his first fight.
So does that mean that you're automatically the hype man for him leading into the fight? It's got to be, right, Flav?
Yeah, kind of like that. You
Okay,
know,
all
I'm going to be the one that manages his career, man. You know
Fair
what I'm
enough.
saying? I'm be his manager, man. You know, I just want to sculpture his career. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm here to do.
Adish Ahmad Brooks and the one and only Flavor
No
Flav
doubt.
joining us
Hey,
here in the booth.
This is a great game. I got to tell y'all, man, this is one of the greatest games, man. And I ain't going to lie, but that run that Biagio had, which is the longest running touchdown of the game so far.
Oh, here goes Mason Moran, the quarterback from Chandler.
Was that a quarterback keeper?
Yes, it was.
Quarterback keeper.
It's about time he kept it. It's about time he kept it and did something with it. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, that was a great play, G. But Bishop Gorman, baby, this is how we do it.
I got to ask you, what was last year like with Snoop at the games? You and Snoop.
Yeah.
What happened last year with the two of you?
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Snoop.
Stories that you can only tell on the air.
Yeah, stories I only can tell on the air. For the air as well, you know. But me and Snoop always been good friends, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've been good friends, man. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. And not only that, but I told Snoop, I said, yo, Snoop.
Flav, we got to go to a break. Can you stay with us?
All right,
one more segment.
I'll hang out with y'all.
One more segment. One more segment.
How about
with
the
Flavor
touchdown
Flav.
run?
Flavor, take us to break. What did you see?
Hey, yo, guess what? I just seen that Chandler ran a touchdown. You know, now Bishop Gorman got to come back to retaliate. Yes, sir.
Flavor Flav has not left us. He's attending
That's
the Bishop
right.
Gorman game close with the Ali family. Biagio Ali Walsh with a touchdown run.
Can I ask a
in the
question?
first half. Go for it,
How
Mike.
many of these clocks do you
Yeah.
have, Flav? I got to know.
I got an answer.
Okay.
A bunch. Yeah, I got a bunch of these.
This is pretty modest, though. Isn't this pretty modest
It is.
for you?
Yeah, man. This is one of this is one of my original joints, man. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm known for.
Indeed.
Hey, you know where the big one is at? The big one is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and it's your fault that I got there. So thank you.
What's next in the career arc for Flavor Flav?
My solo album, and then also another tour with Public Enemy overseas.
That's
You know,
fun.
yeah, it's going down, man. So you guys gonna enjoy this next album I got coming at y'all.
So Public Enemy's coming back now.
That's right. Well, we never left to come back. We've always been out on the road. We just been quiet here in the States, but we've been moving overseas, man, and we've been rocking them. I mean, right, we just came from Barcelona too. Oh man, 40,000 people, rocking. Wow.
Well, we're gonna let you kind of join in as your color commentator now that Bishop Gorman's got the football. You saw Chandler score, Mason Moran with a long touchdown run.
Okay.
So now we get to see Biagio Ali Walsh and the rest of this offense.
That's right. We getting ready to see the offense do their thing right about now. Yes, I am here for Bishop Gorman, just to let y'all know.
Did you ever play football, Flav?
I sure did back when I was in high school.
Running back? Scat
Yes,
back?
I was.
Okay.
I was like to fight, man. Let me tell you something. Do like to fight, tooth in the wind. Go, Beach. See, that's Biagio right there. He got the ball. Look how fast that boy is, though. Wow. See, that's Beach. Now check this out. Here the quarterback hands it off to Biagio. Biagio is running this way. Hey, and he got trapped off. He tried to go that way and they got him. But it's okay. You know, we can't win them all.
Did he learn that spin move from a scat back like you, Flav?
Yeah.
That was nice.
Hey, yo, I ain't gonna lie, but Beach, yo, his comes natural, man. He's a natural, man. He's a natural on that field, man. But I'm proud of Bishop Gorman because of last year. You know what I'm saying? Last year, they 2014 champions, man. Come on.
And we talked about Biagio's speed there, but we've seen the last 2 plays him run with a little bit of power. Has he been in the gym working out with you or what?
Hey, he's been in the gym working out.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. I haven't been there to watch his workout, but I know he's been in the gym. And I ain't gonna lie, all of this stuff that's going on right now, I expected out of Biagio. You know, because he didn't get to play that much last year. So I said if he starts playing, if he starts this year, he's going to explode, man.
There he is again.
And there he is. But they keep sending him up the middle with this play. It's okay. If they give that boy a sweep around the end,
okay,
it's
that's
the
what you're
end.
Calling, huh?
Yeah, let him get the sweep.
Now, did you try to get him into boxing? Because he was telling us
he's
not really a boxer.
Yo, check this out. Biagio is right where he needs to be, and Nico is in the ring right where he needs to be. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. I ain't gonna lie, it wasn't meant for Biagio to box. It's meant for him to do what he's doing out there on that field right now. And I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of all of the players, though, man. Even on the losing team. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is trying real hard, and they giving it their best, man. You know what I'm saying? In the whole nine. So
we need more uplifting talk. We don't have enough uplifting talk like this enough.
Hey, you know why? Because y'all need a guy that can uplift.
We need a hype man.
Y'all need a guy that can uplift. Flavor Flav, you know what I'm saying? For real. I'll come in and I'll uplift the whole everything, man.
Don't take my job, Flav. Don't take my job. Don't take my job.
No, I'm not trying to take your job. I'm just trying to get one.
Indeed.
What you talking about? Hey, y'all better watch out, man. Flav just might be joining y'all on ESPN, doing some commentating in a minute.
Hey, that's going to be great for ratings. We'd love to have you.
Yo, man, I just thank y'all for having me up here, man. This is awesome right now, man. And to be able to see the game from here. Now you guys got the front row seats.
What do you make of this view? Oh, Martell's still on his feet.
Check this out.
There is a flag down.
That's called the quarterback keeper. Because the quarterback kept it.
Now we saw a lot of penalties in that first half.
Yeah,
did you have any choice words for the guys throwing the flags?
That was crazy, man. I mean, all of those pass interferences, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, but then each team is trying to get back at each other now, so they're
illegal
doing
formation,
stuff to each other.
offense,
and that's what's
6
bringing
men
out
on the
these
line.
yellow flags.
That penalty is declined.
But I ain't gonna lie,
Brings
a
up 4th
football
down.
game would not be exciting without the yellow flag. It would not be exciting, without. Come on, man. What's a football game without penalties? Boring. You know, yeah, man. You gotta have a penalty out there, man. You know what I'm saying?
This has been awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me up here and everything. Good luck with your lives, your futures, your goals, your families. You know what I'm saying? And have me on ESPN again.
Awesome experience, man.
Punt goes out of bounds one more time. Flavor Flav supporting Bishop Gorman football, joining us here in the booth.
Boy! That's right, boy! In the building. Bishop Gorman, baby! Move those chains. That's what Brian's.
Geico ESPN High School kickoff. Bishop Gorman leading Chandler 21-14. Bob Brooks and East Schraub. Flavor Flav has departed the booth.
Yeah, he has. What an excellent hype man. I think you need to carry him around, man. Just hype you up, and
genuine positivity, bubbling personality. It's great to have him up here, and he explained his connection to Bishop Gorman. It was a blast. I know last year the guys who did this game, they had Snoop Dogg up here, and so this is what this program is turning into.
You said it, and then you think about some of the alumni that have played here. DeMarco Murray, who led the NFL in rushing a season ago. It's hard not to talk about his success without mentioning his start here in Las Vegas. And you're right. This is just a different program, and the energy around it is unbelievable.
Well, he still got a ball game here, 21-14. N'Keal Harry takes a big hit, but holds onto the ball and picks up a first down. Bubba Bolden on the tackle. And Chandler with a first down at the 36, down by one score. They've managed to hang around after taking a couple of haymakers early.
They're back in this thing. You know, they have gone to running the football and short and intermediate throws, trying to make it easier on Moran.
Very matched up on Harry, top of your screen. Moran running to the outside. He'll tuck it. He's got some room and another first down. Mason Moran stepped out of bounds at the 48, a gain of 13. He's picking his spots much better.
Yeah, he is, and this is the part of his game is he can develop at the next level. This kid will be a playmaker, but an instinctual part of his game right now is running with his feet, and you saw that. I believe this coaching staff took him in at halftime and said, look, you're an athlete, son. We don't care how we move the chains. Move them however you can that time. Of course, seeing that it wasn't there, running for the first down.
87 yards rushing on 10 carries for Moran. This time he gives it to Colby Taylor. And Taylor spinning to the 42-yard line of Bishop Gorman. Taylor, a junior, already with offers from Oregon State, Louisville, and Arizona State. 4.0 student. And a terrific route runner. Michael Reed Campos got maybe a half yard. Actually got enough for the first down. Third down. So first down and 10.
And the one thing that I've also noticed is the tempo.
Yep.
You saw Chandler come out in the first half. They're a no-huddle team, and they were moving the ball, but that was also leading to short drives. And now you see a team that's coming out here. They're taking their time at the line of scrimmage. These are called check-in-with-me plays. They're looking to the sideline as the offensive coaches are giving them what they think the best play to run.
Pressure off the edge. Moran in trouble, trying to get away from Garrett. He does. Throws nearly intercepted. Diving effort by Malik Hausman. Well, there Moran showed some pretty good escapability.
Yes, he did. And the kid is 6'3", 185 pounds. Arm tackles won't bring this kid down, and you saw him step right out of that. And like I said, for a young man who's making his first start as the starting quarterback, you saw him there with his eyes downfield. Those are some mannerisms that I think will bode well for him in the future.
Anthony Clay in the backfield. So Bishop Gorman with a running back named Ali. Chandler with one named Clay. Here is Clay. Charges across the 40 to the 39. Got a couple, 3rd and 8. And with 1:25 to go here in the third, a big third down coming up. This could, in fact, be 4-down territory for Chandler.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially if they can get something here and chip away and make it maybe even a 3rd and short. If you're the coach for Chandler, you're certainly thinking about keeping the momentum that this offense has and the pace of this offense and trying to move the chains.
Harry in the slot, bottom of your screen. Three-step drop, deep for Harry, and it's incomplete. Greg Francis on the coverage, and now N'Keal Harry is down.
Yeah, this kid is a special player. That long, lengthy frame here, he almost pulls in a Sports Center top 10 catch with that one. And as you think about it, you've seen Moran today be a little bit off in his targets, and especially in those intermediate throws. This is something that I'm pretty sure he'll go back to the drawing board. It's a great opportunity and a test for him tonight to see where his game really stands. But that was, as you mentioned, 4th down situation, and here Chandler goes for it with the momentum on their side.
And Chandler 0 for 1 on 4th down today. And a whistle. Bishop Gorman calls for time.
Timeout. Bishop Gorman. First time out of the half.
So Kenny Sanchez wants to talk things over with his team. And the Gales now have 2 timeouts left. It'll be 4th and 8 for Chandler. This is a Chandler team that's coming off its first state title since 1949. If you're just joining us, Chandler lost its second best player, Chase Lucas, very early in the first quarter after Bishop Gorman scored a touchdown. On the ensuing kickoff, watch what happens to Lucas on the return. This is an ESPN 300 kid, one of the top running backs in his class, and he's been on crutches on that Chandler sideline since very early in that first quarter. There he is right now, and you hope he can make a full recovery.
Yeah, and they've got him listed as a running back. When I watch this kid on film, I think he's an all-around athlete. He plays on the defensive side of the ball at the cornerback position, safety. He's listed as an H-back. They'll line him up at the slot, outside, at the running back position. So a major hit for this Chandler team, but give them credit. With 51 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and this fourth down, they're looking to try to keep some momentum and shorten this game or even tie it potentially.
Trips right here on 4th and 8. Moran finds Harry, and a first down for the Wolves. N'Keal Harry carved out some space, makes the catch for a gain of a dozen.
Yeah, and he did it on Tyjon Lindsey. But here's the deal. That was one-on-one coverage up top, and I'm sitting here screaming and pointing because I know that Mason also saw it. That may have been the best time throw that I've seen Moran make, and he did it at a crucial and critical time on 4th down. As the chains move in Chandler, that momentum back on their side as they continue to try to punch one in the end zone.
Moran has a lot of physical tools. He was an all-state safety on the state championship team a year ago, but this is just his second varsity start at quarterback. Here's the pressure. Moran throws it up, intercepted. Tyjon Lindsey picks it off.
I know it's early, but if there's an MVP right now, it's 25 Tyjon Lindsey. This kid, wow. You're starting to see why he's one of the more dynamic athletes in all of the country. In zone coverage, they run a lot of cover 2 looks, so they gave him an opportunity. The running back coming out on a wheel route, excellent job of staying underneath, identifying where the ball was at, and last but not least, making a clutch and critical play in a situation where Chandler had some momentum and moving forward. I bet that's one that Moran wishes he had back.
He's a kid, Lindsey, known as an explosive athlete, as Moran gets consoled after his second interception. And Lindsey with offers from Arizona State, Oregon, Texas A&M, USC, Washington, and Ohio State. Biagio Ali Walsh picks up a couple. That run takes us to the end of the third quarter. Chandler able to chip away at a 2-touchdown deficit from halftime. Mason Moran, the Oregon State commit. A 1-score game as we head into the final stanza.
Geico ESPN High School Kickoff is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Oh, I get it. Chandler Bing. There we go. I get it. Now, I was wondering the Matthew Perry fatheads that were floating around.
Chandler Starburst is pretty good, too, though. Nobody likes those things.
I get it now. All right.
That's great.
Creativity by the Bishop Gorman faithful.
Indeed.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Bing and business. Chandler only down by 7. They trailed 21-7 at halftime. The Wolves have never led. Bishop Gorman with the football, 2nd and 7 from the Gales' 15. Here is Biagio Ali Walsh, slips the tackle and gets to the 19 on a late flag.
Penalty marker on the play.
Five-yard face mask. Defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. Results in a first down.
So Bishop Gorman will move the chains. Chandler with a 174-11 edge in third quarter yardage, as you saw on the graphic.
They've also controlled the clock. They came out with 4 or 5 straight runs. to open up the half. And
fumble, and Ollie Walsh able to cover it up, but he lost 3, second and long.
That's a great test for both teams. You know, you play for an historic high school program. You're used to playing in big games in the postseason and throughout the year, and to have this type of pressure early on, it's really a great gauge for the coaches to be able to determine the guys that they can trust when the heat turns up.
So the ball now on the 22. Tyjon Lindsey, top of your screen, and movement.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 73. 5 yards, still second down.
The infraction moves the ball back to the 17-yard line. Second down and 18.
Martell over the middle, and it's off the hands of Brevin Jordan, the tight end. This program has high hopes for Jordan, who's only a sophomore, but he's stepping into dinosaur footprints left by Alize Jones, who last year was not just Bishop Gorman's tight end, but the number 1 tight end in all of high school football. He's now in South Bend.
Yeah, he was a fine football player, and those are the types of plays that when your team needs you, you've got to come through. Young player getting some important minutes tonight.
There's pressure from up the middle. Gahagan. That's Ollie Walsh. Ollie Walsh still on his feet across midfield and into Chandler territory. That elicited a few yeah boys, I know, from Flavor Flav down below us.
No doubt about it. And when you see this here, one thing that's been impressive all night is this kid's lower body strength. Watch him just run through tacklers. It's not the great move there. He wasn't elusive. He did it with power. Once again, guy hanging off of his jersey. Yep. And you've seen him do that continuously tonight. And this is a young man that certainly will benefit from the performance he's had tonight. Look for him to continue to climb.
Martell. That's a legal pass. And a flag. That's Gahagan. A flag did come in. It looked like Martell was behind where he needed to be.
That is one of the toughest plays in all of football to cover. I mean, it is. It just gives the quarterback so many options, and the defense really.
Block in the back. Offense, number 6. 10 yards from the end of the run. Replay, first down.
Yeah, it really makes it hard on the defense, but you see it here. Great play call, but at the end here, the block in the back coming on Austin Arnold, I believe. And so when you see something like that, those are the plays that kill momentum. You see Gorman come back, Biagio with a big run. Now, once again, penalties setting them back. And this game for Gorman and for Chandler has been a game full of penalties and mental errors.
Penalties have hurt both teams. Gorman, in the first half alone, more than 100 yards in penalties.
Yikes.
Gorman keeps it on the ground. It'll bring up 2nd and 10, Jonathan Shoemaker.
It's been a few plays without getting Tyjon Lindsey involved as he's coming off the sideline now. I was just about to say, now's the time in these 2nd and 3rd and long situations where you try to find a dynamic playmaker like that.
Give this Chandler front credit. They've done a pretty good job all evening. Big number 99, Chris Manoa in the middle, has done his job as a space eater. Martell rolling right. Stops, throws downfield, receiver wide open, and that's going to be a flag. The DB wasn't looking at the football. That was an easy call for the Stripes.
Yeah, that's a tough play, though, because when you get beat, you're just trying to catch up. And I've been in that position before. And it's a bad feeling here, and it's obviously another bad penalty for this Chandler team who had Gorman behind the sticks.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. 15 yards from the previous spot. Results in a first down.
He's not even looking at the ball. And that was an easy one for the refs.
Yeah, that play, though, but I will say this about the throw from Martell. Had he recognized that play earlier, he was rolling to his right. It looked like it was the third receiver on his progression, so he got to him late and then wasn't able there to really show off his arm strength. He didn't have anybody in his face, and those are things at the next level. In order for this kid to be a dynamic player like he is in high school, he'll have to work to improve.
Ali Walsh to the 30. 2nd and 6. You saw Haskell Garrett lined up at fullback there. 4-star D lineman who scored the first touchdown of this game.
And expect Gorman here to start managing the clock with a little over 8 minutes in this game, especially with them having some momentum here. And we also know that their field goal range, I believe he told us yesterday, about 35 yards is where Coach Sanchez feels comfortable with booting one through the uprights.
Ali Walsh looking for room on the outside. And he's to the 26-yard line. 4 more, 3rd and 2.
Taken down by number 55, Chandler. 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
You watch that Chandler defense, and you see a lot of hands on hips now.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you have penalties and you stay on the field. They are tired, and you're absolutely right. And this wears more on the D line, and that's what you'll see here. Run the football.
Oh, there's the big fella, Haskell Garrett, out of that power eye. And I think he's going to be a little short.
Appears that way.
4th and inches.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to tackle that guy.
Do you just give it to him again?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point they're going to leave him out on the field. Why not? I mean, you've seen him today be successful, scored the first touchdown for this team, and they brought him off of the field, obviously, here. So maybe they'll go to Biagio, who's been playing extremely well for him as he lines up as the tailback in this formation.
When he gets a little opening, he can go.
Yeah.
And Ali Walsh, the deep back in this Maryland eye. They'll give it to Shoemaker, and he gets a first down inside the 20 to the 19.
Yeah, they paid Chandler back for that 4th down. They come here and in a crucial situation in the 4th quarter. It pays off big for them as they now move the chains and find themselves inside the red zone. Here's where it heats up. And if you're Tate Martell, here's a quarterback that really show that he's elite here, because quarterbacks, when you get inside the 20, boy, does that feel short. And as they talk about that 12th defender, that back line, everything is short and inside as they'll try to run the football here again.
Again, staying with that power eye look, and it's Ali Walsh who gets a couple more. Martell, the trigger man for that Bishop Gorman offense, the number 2 pocket passer in ESPN Junior 300, the number 1 junior in the state of Nevada. In fact, the top 4 juniors from the Silver State are all playing for Bishop Gorman tonight.
Wow. That's called dominance.
Yeah, it's Martell, Lindsey, number 2. And then you've got Alex Perry and Haskell Garrett on the defensive side of the ball, although Garrett has seen a few snaps here on offense. Play action. Martell on the run, incomplete. Good job there by the San Diego State commit, Kyrie Woods.
I've got to tell you, I think this was a bad decision.
You run, right?
Martell,
you take off.
Yeah, they will tell you. Anytime you've got this edge, you'll see him. Excellent play fake here, but watch him. The DN has already lost contain, and he tries to force it in on good coverage there as number 6, Kyrie Woods, one of the top corners in the nation. I don't know. I think I tuck that thing there, try to pick up, maybe even try to stay in bounds to run the clock, but I don't think that was a decision, looking back on it, that Martell will be proud of.
And all that, part of becoming a quarterback, decision making.
Yes.
Those situations, recognizing when to tuck it, when to throw it.
Timeout. Bishop Gorman.
Bishop Gorman timeout. The Gales have 1 left. 3rd and 8 when we come back. A big third down coming up for Bishop Gorman. Got it at the 18-yard line of Chandler. Right here, the kicker Derek Ing at the edge of his field goal range. Pressure, screen pass. Ali Walsh. Ali, touchdown, Bishop Gorman.
Yeah, that might have been the nail in the coffin. And that was a fine run, excellent play call. And I tell you what, the timing on that was excellent for a guy who they say is undersized. There goes Flavor Flav. From this guy, Biagio, he's let it be clear. And you see there the other Ali Walsh, young man Nico, standing behind him there with his hat turned backwards, the boxer. And he looks like a boxer there, running through defenders once again. As I said it, Biagio doing an excellent job of making sure he punches one in. He's tired now, but this young man has had a heck of a ball game tonight. They're trying to kick the extra point here. Flavor Flav in the stands, directing attention to himself as usual, and letting everybody know that that's his people. Extra point attempt, good. Gorman, 28-14. Flavor Flav happy on this run right here as you see it. Nice little screen pass sets up. Gorman up on Biagio's back. Touchdown.
(28-14). Biagio Ali Walsh with a touchdown catch. Ali Boumaye. That may have been it for Chandler. Primetime college football Friday night, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Michigan State goes to Kalamazoo to take on Western Michigan. The Spartans have won at least 11 games in 4 of the last 5 years. They have become, under Mark D'Antonio, one of the elite programs in college football. And if you're wondering why is Michigan State going on the road, this is on purpose. They set up a plan a few years ago when the Michigan economy was really hard hit, that they set up series where they would go play at Central Michigan, at Eastern Michigan, at Western Michigan. And a few years ago, in fact, when they were in Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan, it was a big boost to that local economy. The stadium sold out. That, hey, Michigan State is making the trip. And really, it's an economic stimulus, not for the programs at Western Michigan or Eastern Michigan, but for those cities, Kalamazoo, Ypsilanti, and Mount Pleasant.
That's fantastic. And when you can affect the community like that and really take advantage of your platform, you've got to give credit to that entire program for the willingness to do something like this for the community. And you better believe it. What better way to bring people together, have a big party, than to put on a football game? And that's exactly what you have coming up here with Michigan State.
In Vegas, you kind of get the best of both worlds.
True. Good point.
6:02 to go. Chandler down by 2 scores. Moran's going to keep it on the read option. And he gets across the 30-yard line. They'll be close to a first down, and he's got enough.
Yeah, I think when you lose a player like Chase Lucas, who's out with an injury, this coaching staff probably had a game plan in place to throw the football more, but we've seen it in the second half, Moran making the decision to run, and it's been beneficial to Chandler.
N'Keal Harry has that one go through his hands. You may have heard footsteps there.
Yeah, you got to make that play. You know, when you're the top guy and when a quarterback shows confidence in you, and it appeared as though that might have even been a hot route where it was one-on-one coverage, the corner was backed off. Moran recognized that and went to Harry, his top target, and the ball just slipped through his hands.
Saturday night in Las Vegas, 5:40 to go. It's been a hot, sweltering desert night. And Chandler, familiar with that terrain, just 30 miles outside of Phoenix. Moran goes down. Brevin Jordan got there first.
Yeah, and Brevin Jordan, you talked about him earlier at the tight end position. Coach Sanchez, talking to him yesterday, he really thought that this kid was going to have a breakout year this year at the linebacker position. And that was a spectacular play there as he gets the pressure and really puts Chandler in a very tough and difficult third down.
The Wolves have to get to the 41-yard line. Quick release. That's caught. Colby Taylor gets to the 26-yard line, well short of the first. And now it's fourth down. And Sean Aguano calling on the punt team, so that might be the white flag.
Yeah, and Gorman, the defending national champs, yeah, they're just so cool. You know, when the pressure got on, you saw them, they responded with a touchdown. And as this team continues to try to, I can't even believe I'm saying this, make it their 8th straight or 7th straight state title, it's just amazing to think. This is a program that thinks success, and they certainly come out and translate that onto the football field.
Harry to punt it away. And that goes out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. Oh, well, they mark the punt. Let's recap the stars of the weekend. A.J. Brown, big game for Starkville,
Yes.
16 for 192. Jake Allen, who's verbal to Florida, threw 4 TD passes for Aquinas. And Feaster with a big game for Spartanburg.
It's been a fun weekend. I mean, to be able to see the top high school talent. And you know, I've played at every level. I can tell you this. High school football, there's nothing like it in Niche. It's the purest form, if you ask me, of guys just out here giving great effort and energy. And their mindset is right. They're out here to have fun. And so ESPN has done an excellent job of covering these games and really bringing it to the fans.
Yeah, I had one more note to mention. Brett Hundley, a former Chandler quarterback, now with the Green Bay Packers, I'm being told had an outstanding preseason game tonight.
Well, that's big time. When you've got those type of course, alumni representing you at the NFL level, it's certainly an opportunity for these young kids out here to dream and to believe that they can accomplish something like that.
Yeah, Chandler's produced some good players over the years. Adam Archuleta went to Chandler.
One of my favorite all-time players.
Cameron Jordan, who got rich in the offseason. Deion Jordan of Miami, 3rd overall pick, suspended for this season, but had a fine career at Oregon. Shoemaker moves the pile. I'll tell you what, a guy who may have upped his draft stock tonight in a few ways, Biagio Ali Walsh, a couple of touchdowns, and it helps to have a guy like Flavor Flav in your corner too.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And as we were talking about some of those prestigious, notable alumni, definitely it looks like Biagio is on his way to having an impactful year, and perhaps he'll be one of those guys to follow in the footsteps of some of the greats to play here at Gorman.
And Gorman's had some. DeMarco Murray, who led the NFL in rushing, played here. As Shoemaker gets to the 30-yard line. You look at the namesake of this field, Fertitta's founders of the UFC, Dana White, with ties to Bishop Gorman. Shabazz Muhammad, who plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves, started UCLA for a season. And then a couple of guys in the college game that we'll talk about this fall. Ronnie Stanley might be one of the top 2 tackles in the country. He's at Notre Dame. Todd McShay projects Stanley as a first-round pick. And a new Solomon is at Arizona. Well, let's take a look at our MVP of the game, brought to you by Geico, and we're going to give it to Biagio Ali Walsh. I know Tyjon Lindsey was the clubhouse favorite at one point, but Lindsey made up some ground on the back nine.
That was before that second touchdown, and he came back, and it was almost like you heard us talking about it, and really finished this game strong. And both of those guys tonight proved their value to their team. And Flavor Flav, maybe it was the good luck, him coming into the booth and hyping up his man Biagio.
There is Ali Walsh. It's going to bring up 4th down. He's just shy of the first down marker. Tate Martell, who's the quarterback and the punter, asking his coach Kenny Sanchez what to do.
What a beautiful stadium. You look, you can see the strip from here on the booth that we're in, and you know, these young people being able to play in this type of atmosphere, you know, I get goosebumps thinking about it, Nish. I do. I mean, this is what I miss the most.
Bishop Gorman.
Bishop Gorman takes a timeout with 1:12 to go. Ball step aside. One more game in the Geico ESPN high school football kickoff, and it's one you don't want to miss. IMG Academy at Miramar. IMG with 13 players that are in either the ESPN 300 or the ESPN Junior 300. And if you want to gotta watch, Ole Miss commit Shea Patterson. He's the number 2 dual threat quarterback in his class. And movement up front on that Chandler defensive line.
And you don't get a lot of opportunities as a quarterback to work on your hard count. And Tate Martell there drawing the defensive line off sides. And those are some of the little things.
Defense, number 65. 5 yards, results in a first down.
Kelby Williams, the guilty party.
Yeah, those are some of the little things that if he can continue to work his game, it's clear to see why Tate Martell is one of the top talents in the 2017 class.
Between now and through his senior year, what are a couple of areas where you see he can improve?
Well, I say this. I think he needs to stick to his natural game. You know, he's a gambler. Gorman with one more touchdown to finish this off. But I think he's a gambler, Anish, and I think tonight we saw a couple of times some indecision in determining whether he wanted to run the football or pass the football. And I asked the question very direct yesterday. I said, how do you try to become a pocket passer when your game is about getting outside of the pocket and making plays with your feet? And that's what you gain notoriety from. And he said, I want to prove to people that I can beat teams in the pocket. You know, and tonight he tried to do that, but I think that's one part of his game that he'll continue to try to develop.
Jonathan Shoemaker with that last score. The point after, a wounded duck is good. 35-14. Ahmad, one last point on Martell, though. At what point, though, do you have to say, this is who I am?
Illegal formation. Offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Replay the try.
Wow. We've seen guys in college football and the NFL where they get into a system and a coach wants them to be somebody, and their skill set does not always cooperate. And we saw a couple of instances today where there was one Martell was rolling out and should have ran, but he decided to throw it. And at what point do you say, you know what, I just got to be who I am?
I think tonight is going to go a long way in proving that. You know, now coaches have something on film to say, here's a decision where we don't want to take away your natural instincts to run and to be a creator with your feet. And I think it's just going to come over time as he's trying to develop his passing game. I think for me, though, if I'm this coaching staff, they won a state title and a national title a year ago with this guy's legs.
And he was a sophomore.
And so I personally think that now's the time, if you're Coach Sanchez, to get him together this weekend after they start watching film and say, you know what, we understand what you're trying to do, but we need you to be you. We need you to be the Tate Martell that led us to a national title.
I'm going to throw this out there. Johnny Manziel in College Station turned into Johnny Football. Tate Martell, when you look at his namesake, Martell.
Okay.
There was a famous Martell, Charles Martell, who was the grandfather of Charlemagne, and Charles Martell was known as Charles the Hammer.
Okay.
So Tate the Hammer. You buying it?
Is he hammering defenses? I'm assuming that's what's happening, right? He is difficult.
I think the Hammer's a good, I mean, personally.
I like it. We'll have to run it by him.
Biagio, Ali Walsh, you saw there on the sideline. 35-14. Taylor had some trouble. And down at the 19. Well, the scoring began. Bishop Gorman on its opening drive. Feed the big fella. Haskell Garrett, the D lineman, getting the short touchdown. Mason Moran, a 15-yard scamper for the equalizer. And then Biagio, Ali Walsh. Untouched. 55 yards to the house. More explosive plays by Gorman. In the second quarter, up by a score, Martell to his housemate, Tyjon Lindsey. These two closest brothers, they grew up together. In the third, 44-yard TD run by Moran, his second rushing touchdown of the game. But two late scores by Ali Walsh and Shoemaker have put this game away.
Carry by number 4.
35-14, Bishop Gorman, winner of the national championship last year in high school football, and 6 consecutive Nevada State titles, on its way to a strong start here in 2015. And they play a national schedule the rest of the way. They don't really get into in-state games until a little later on in the season. They have some heavyweights. They're going to be on TV. And Kenny Sanchez gets a win in his debut as head coach of this proud program.
Yeah, and they have not backed down from that type of competition, and I think that's also why you've seen the dominance here in Nevada, is because this is a team that prepares themselves very well for the postseason. And when you see Coach Sanchez there, he talked about some of his nerves yesterday. This has got to feel good to him to come out following in the footsteps, the gigantic footsteps of his brother, who's now moved on to UNLV as the head football coach. But this was a team win tonight. I think they saw a little adversity. They saw some times where they controlled the game, but for Bishop Gorman, this is a great start for them as they continue to try to have their dominance all over America.
An impressive opening salvo by the reigning national champion, Bishop Gorman 35, Chandler 14. A couple of touchdowns by Biagio Ali Walsh, who has offers from UNLV and Louisville, and a big supporter in Flavor Flav. Kenny Sanchez wins his first game as head coach of the Gales. Tate Martell threw a couple of scores. Tyjon Lindsey had a score. Haskell Garrett was all over the field on offense and defense, a complete effort by the defending champs.
Yeah, this was fun. I love high school football for these reasons. It's been great here, and I'm happy that I was able to be a part of this.
For Ahmad Brooks, Simon Schrapp, for our entire crew, we say good night from Las Vegas. Bishop Gorman and Kenny Sanchez, a victor.